Hey, everybody, welcome to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, and strategies to help you do business better and to help you build a profitable business that's fun to run. Today is Friday, and it's Tech Day with the Tech Divas. Now, two of our Tech Divas are on assignment. There are graduations. It's June. We got brides and grads and dads, all things happening. So I'm going to start it all off like we normally do with welcoming everybody who's watching live and on the replay and then listening over on Clubhouse. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're going to get started with this week in tech history. So let's see what happened this week in tech history. I'm going to start with this story, and this comes from a blog called This Day in Tech History by Marcel Brown, and you can follow him over on Facebook. Okay, so June 21st, 2004, financed by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, Spaceship One becomes the first spacecraft developed by the free market to enter space flight. Launched from a mothership named White Knight, Spaceship One flew just beyond the atmosphere into the threshold of space, then glided back to Earth. Spaceship One would later win the $10 million Ansari X Prize for the first non-government organization to launch a reusable manned spacecraft. And that was June 2004. And it's interesting to note that nobody talks about that in the light of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and adventures into space, but this was co-founder Paul Allen into space, and it was financed by Microsoft. Wow. Our next story, Jet Mail, June 22nd, 1946. In a demonstration of the capabilities of jet aircraft, Army Air Corps pilots Kenneth Chilstrom and Robert Baird transport mail in a Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star, thus making the first delivery of mail by jet aircraft. And that's June 22nd, 1946. And then June 23rd, 1868, the Scholes and Glidden typewriter, the first practical and commercially successful typewriter, is patented. Perhaps most notable in the design of the Scholes and Glidden, which would later become the Remington #1 typewriter. I can remember using Remington typewriters. Is the use of the QWERTY keyboard, QWERTY keyboard, which is still the most popular keyboard layout in the world. I am looking up something here real quick. Okay, just got to get my notes up. All right, next in our final story in this week in tech history, June 24th, 2010, after a wild lead up involving a prototype being lost at a bar, Apple's iPhone 4 officially went on sale. Later, the iPhone 4 would then become the subject of the Antenna Gate controversy. With so much attention given to the phone, it was no wonder it went on to set sales records. And that is your week in tech history. How are you doing, Dr. Tachi? You know, it's you and me holding down the fort.
Wow. Well, I'm barely holding down the fort because I have this allergy thing that's making me cough.
Okay, so we will make this quick. It's probably going to be one of our shortest tech days in history. I can if you'd like to go, that would be if that is good for you now. Hey, Tasha and Dryer Buzz, if you'd like to go now, you can. I have Terry Johnson's notes.
Okay.
All right.
So, okay, so please forgive me if I have to come off, um, in case I have to cough.
No
So,
worries.
let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the production world, the production company world. The Obamas have a company called Higher Ground, as you know, and they've actually signed a first book deal with Audible after ending their Spotify pact. So, if you remember, the big thing was that they had this deal with Spotify. Well, now they're gone from Spotify and they are on to bigger and better with Audible. Now, Audible is Amazon, so that could mean some interesting things for them. So they have an exclusive multi-year global first book production deal with Higher Ground, and they're going to cover multiple audio projects. So the slate of the Higher Ground shows for Audible quote will reflect the company's shared mission to tell meaningful and entertaining stories that elevate diverse voices and experiences, according to the announcement. So they didn't provide any details of what's forthcoming in terms of audio projects, but I'm sure they have some things in the bag already. So as I said, they were with Spotify, and that Spotify deal was originally inked in 2019. Now it's to an end. Spotify said they declined to renew the deal, but according to sources, the Obamas wanted their podcast programming to be distributed as widely as possible and not exclusive to Spotify, which I tend to believe.
What?
The
Yeah.
latter, yeah, that's not you, Spotify. They wanted it widely. So uh, and then they also disagreed with Spotify over the number of the shows they would feature that would feature the former president and first lady. So the good thing about this is that it's going to be widely available on a myriad of different platforms. So as you know, Higher Ground also has some upcoming TV projects on Netflix, including Rusted, a feature film that tells the civil rights and gay story of civil rights and gay rights activist Bayard Rustin, a feature documentary called Descendants, and a something produced by Questlove, which is called it's Descendant, which is Questlove, and then Blackout is a film and TV event adapted from six different love stories. So they have a lot going on for Netflix, and now they've got some stuff going on for Audible. So congrats to the Obamas and their company Higher Ground.
Nice. Um, that whole situation, Audible is a bigger platform.
It is a bigger platform, and the thing is, I think Audible spent all their damn money on Joe Rogan because they seem to be trying to be nickel and diming everybody that's on there. But who told you to offer him $200 million for rubbish? In my opinion, but somebody listens to him. So, and anyway, I think Audible is a better fit. They're going to be able, so their stuff will not be exclusive to Audible. It will be available on other platforms as well. And the thing is, that's the key. It's listenership. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's the platform, but it's about the popularity of the show. So if people get used to listening to them on Audible, they'll listen to them on Audible. And what Spotify could have done was say, okay, for a year it's exclusive here. That gives people time to get used to listening to podcasts on Spotify, and then they're not going to go anywhere else to listen. So they could have done a better job with that. That was stupidity on their part.
Right.
So let's keep talking about, speaking of production companies, guess who else has a production company that is launching a new media company? Naomi Osaka. She is launching a media company with LeBron James's and Maverick Carter's Spring Hill. So Spring Hill, as you know, LeBron James is behind that. They're going to provide production and development resources to Osaka's new company, and they've already lined up projects with Epics and the New York Times.
Wow.
So her company is called Hanakuba. For those of you who don't know Naomi Osaka, she is the tennis phenom who has been doing phenomenally well. And Hanakuba is Japanese. Hana means flower, and Kuma means bear in Japanese. And they're going to produce stories that are culturally specific but universal to all audiences, playful and bold in its approach to tackle important issues of society. So they already have multiple projects lined up, including a documentary series at Epix with Osana, James, and Carter serving as executive producers. And then the first project under the Hanakuma banner will be Big, which is an upcoming New York Times op-ed from director Ben Proudfoot about Pasty Mink, who is the first woman of color elected to Congress, or was the first woman of color elected to Congress. So lots of stuff on tap for Naomi Osaka's Hanakuma not label company, her production company, which is really cool. I said this on Mediascope though, that it seems like there is an overwhelming amount of individuals who are not traditionally from the media space getting into the media space. And I think that's okay. I think it will offer fresh perspective. But I also think that some people may not have the know-how. I would hope they have people on board that have the know-how, and I'm sure they do. But it keeps happening where there's this, and don't think I'm saying this in a bad way, the gentrification of the media space. Now, gentrification has been used to term things when it comes to people coming in neighborhoods, and usually they're talking about non-melanated people, but gentrification just it basically means any people who come into an area and usurp the resources from the area without, regard to the original inhabitants. So that's just basically what it means. It's not necessarily to do with race or ethnicity, etc. And it's not always neighborhoods. But what we've seen, lately is the podcasting space. So somebody like Joe Rogan, people who already have resources coming in to spaces that are grassroots in a sense, like podcasting, and then taking it quote Hollywood. Who were the first podcasters? They weren't celebrities and things. They were everyday grassroots people.
Right.
But once people saw how popular they were, companies started coming in, swooping in, and buying up all the, you have all these podcast networks that are owned, corporate owned, and who are they getting? Celebrities and well-knowns, and not the grassroots people who started it off. We all saw that with Anchor and how they basically was like, oh, well, you can go to hell. For those of us that were really producing great content for them on a regular basis.
Right.
So, their whole thing was, well, we're just trying to get acquired. And it happened because Spotify acquired them. So, no disrespect to your game, but the original point is, I think it's great, but just make sure you're doing your research, your homework, and you are into what audiences want, and not just because you want to tell a story. Because you can tell a story to yourself. You're doing this for the audience. So, just a thought there.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So, moving on. Now, who needed a study to determine this? But I'm going to say it anyway. Half of consumers say that 4 streaming services are too many. So there's a whole for like the number 4. So as streamers continue to struggle with churn, and we all know churn is the concept of people sign up for a service while there's a free trial or a certain amount of weeks or some incentive, and then as soon as it comes to an end, bam, they're gone. So that is the concept of churn. So a new survey by Movable Ink finds that personalized communication may be the key to retaining subscriptions. So there was this survey, involved. I don't want you to think I meant paid by employed, but it involved 3,000 people, and they found that 52% in the US, Canada, and the UK, and Ireland feel that 4 or more streaming services are way too many. So the survey also found that brands in general, not not just streamers, need to find better ways to communicate with customers and to personalize those communications if they want to retain loyalty in this super crowded streaming space. So 68, which is over two-thirds of consumers, say that they are likely to be a loyal customer and purchase more of a brand's products if they are engaging and build personal relationships with them. And then over half, 51% of US consumers reported they would be more likely to trust the brand that sends them personalized communication. Interesting. So this is not just with streamers, this is customer service in general.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you can point this to anything. So, not that we needed a survey to tell us this, but it is what it is. Let's talk about my friend Billy Porter. I love Billy Porter. So, he has signed a first look deal with FX Productions. Now, I'm not surprised because remember, he was one of the stars of the breakout hit Pose, which was produced by FX. So I'm not surprised that FX has reached out to him again. So the Emmy winner will develop new content through his production company, Incognito. And I use that word all the time. I probably should have trademarked it because now Billy Porter has it. So his production company is called Incognito, and he has a first look deal. He's going to develop new content through this company with his producing partner, DJ Guggenheim. And this is what he said. I'm so glad I've been blessed to live long enough to see this day, the day where my queerness was my liability, to now where it grounds my work in personal authenticity and power. This is where we change the conversation. This is where we have the guts to tell the stories that resonate on the deepest level. So good for him. Congratulations. I am excited to see what he produces.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. And let me see. I think I have one other story for you. Excuse me. Uh, I'm starting to cough, so I'm going to end it there.
Okay. And thank you for bringing us the media in the news this week. Appreciate your time and be well. Okay. So I am picking up. I'm gonna. TJ's got graduation duties going on, so I am going to um, take care of the stories that she sent us today. So here we go. This is social media this week. And I'm not Terry Johnson online, but here we go. The first story involves Google. You can now watch YouTube videos on your Apple Watch. WatchTube app lets you browse through YouTube videos on your wrist. Thanks to a new app called WatchTube from developer Hugo Mason, there is now a YouTube app for the Apple Watch. While a smartwatch isn't an ideal device to endlessly browse through YouTube content with small display, tiny speakers, knowing that you can makes the app worthwhile. The Apple Watch app is available to download on the App Store, letting you play YouTube videos, like and subscribe to content, search channels, and playlists. And it gives you a feed of trending videos to binge watch. What's more, it has its own algorithm that adapts to the content you watch. The app does not link to a user's YouTube account. As the developer states, anything you interact with is stored on the device for privacy reasons, which seems to me you're going to need to have some space on your watch. Content is generated offline as your feed will deliver a curated list of videos from what you've watched on the Apple Watch and to whom you subscribe to. Plus, you're now able to view information and all the comments on the videos you watch. Any thoughts? Tasha and Dryer Buzz is also in the house. I'm not sure if they're available to speak, but I will invite you. This is a little different. I think I can see where it would be convenient if you had your own curated ones. Now you're not having to scroll and things are popping up and you can listen, because I probably use it to listen more so than watch. Next story is from Twitter. Twitter now allows local businesses to display your location, hours, and contact information on their profiles. Twitter has teamed up with Shopify to give merchants in the US an easy way to use the social network to grow their business. Merchants can now add a Twitter sales channel app to their Shopify admin dashboard to access a manager where they can see the social network's shopping tools and features. That sales channel automatically and regularly syncs with Shopify merchants' catalogs, so users won't have to worry about updating product information on multiple platforms. That will make it easier for merchants to showcase their products through Twitter's Shop Spotlight, which is a dedicated space at the top of a profile that can display up to 5 items. Visitors to a merchant's account will be able to scroll through those carousel of products to purchase them without having to leave Twitter. Merchants can also choose to highlight a bigger collection of goods through Twitter's in-app shops, which can list up to 50 hand-picked items. Both features were in beta testing, but they are now available to all merchants in the US. Very interesting. Another story from Twitter. Twitter wants writers to publish long-form content with notes. The company confirmed that it's beginning to test a new notes feature, which will allow writers to publish free-form content on Twitter without a character limit. Notes are essentially blog posts that appear within Twitter without the typical limitations of a tweet. There are no character limits, and writers can embed photos, videos, and other tweets within a note. Writers can also share their notes via tweets, and their published notes will appear on their Twitter profiles. Notes could significantly change how writers interact with their followers and give them more flexibility than the typical tweet storm. Twitter's editorial director, Rembert Brown, wrote that notes are meant to give writers an alternative to the lengthy threads without having to publish writing elsewhere and share it back to Twitter. Since the company's earliest days, writers have depended on Twitter to share their work, get noticed, be read, create conversation, everything but the actual writing, Brown wrote. With notes, the goal is to fill in that missing piece and help writers find whatever type of success they desire. I have a question. Wasn't there notes on Facebook at one time?
Yes. Are you surprised it's gone?
No. It seems like the same type of thing that was over there.
It is. To me, this seems like Twitter's attempt to be like a media, to be like a blogging app. They want for those people that write on Medium, they want for them to be able to do things there. This is what it seems like, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they added the monetization feature that Medium has,
Right.
Where, to get paid for their work. So, I mean, this is just another avenue for them to open up. They're trying to find their identity outside of just the news app.
Right. And they're kind of sounding, well, it feels like they're scrambling, like you said, to find their identity, just like Meta or Facebook is scrambling. Everybody, okay, let's twist it this way and see if that works. Let's twist it this way. And they're not quite sure who they are. Story from Instagram. Instagram is testing an AI face scanning tool that can verify your age. It is also trying out a technique called social vouching. Instagram is testing a new age verification method. I'm going to say that again because it's not new age. Instagram is testing a new age verification method, including asking followers to vouch for your age and even using AI that can estimate your age via a video selfie. It's part of a push to ensure users are at least the minimum 13 years old and to make sure that teens and adults are in the right experience for their age group, it announced. For the social vouching system, Instagram asks three mutual followers of the user. Instagram asks three mutual followers of the user to confirm their age. Those followers must be 18 and have 3 days to respond to the request. Users can still verify their age with pictures of ID cards as well. The AI part requires you take a video selfie, which Meta-owned Instagram then shares with a company called Yoti. It doesn't provide any other information to Yoti, only the image, it says. Yoti's technology estimates your age based on your facial features and shares that estimate with us. Meta and Yoti then delete the image. The technology cannot recognize your identity, only your age, Instagram says in the blog post. Okay, who believes that?
Not I, said the cat.
I don't believe that either.
Okay. So Instagram asked three mutual followers of the user to confirm that. So they're going to ask three of your friends or followers to confirm your age.
See, that to me is already problematic. We've already had a problem with this. Kevin thought that when you open, lately they've been asking you to confirm. And so Kevin thought it was the age of the podcast because it was for the TV channeling Instagram. And he put the age when we started. Yeah, but we started in 2016, so clearly you're not going to be 13 years old then. So it ended up locking us out. So we were able to get back in, but I don't know. It's I do understand where they're coming from, but can't people lie?
They done figured out how to lie about all this stuff anyway. And then the next part is they're asking you to take a video selfie. Really?
Yeah, no, I don't like that at one bit.
And there's a third party that is now doing the technology of estimating your age, and it says the technology cannot recognize your identity. Really? But you're taking my face.
It can. This is absolute rubbish.
Yeah, okay. That is just a little, I don't know. There could be a different way of ascertaining if somebody's 13 or not. That's a little much. The next story is from Snapchat. Snapchat is launching a mentorship and funding program for 25 Black creators. 25 Black Snapchat creators will receive funding, mentorship, and other resources through a one-year accelerator program. The program follows similar efforts at other major platforms to provide support to emerging creators from traditionally underrepresented backgrounds. Black creators face unique systemic barriers across the creator industry, from disparities in compensation and attribution to toxic experiences and more, Snap says. We believe one of the ways we can help remove some of those barriers is to provide mentorship and financial resources to emerging Black creators in the early stages of their professional careers. The resources, Snap says, it will offer selected applicants The resources, Snap says, it will offer selected applicants range from monthly stipends and mentoring to early access to product updates. First, Snap will give each participant $10,000 per month for 12 months to support the applicant's creative endeavors. They also get an upgrade to Snapchat Star status. Be invited to provide feedback on new Snapchat features and receive a Google Pixel 7 Pro. Application for Snapchat's program are open through August 12th, and creators will be selected by early September. Thoughts?
I think that's really interesting. It follows suit with what a lot of these other platforms are doing in terms of having creative programs aimed at people of color.
Yeah.
In this case, more specifically, Black creators. I think it's necessary. My think does it go far enough? Because I think sometimes these programs are instituted because something happens. There's uproar about something. They're complaining, there's complaints about something. So it's never an organic thing. It's always a response to something. And whenever something is just a response, sometimes it's not always well thought out. So I'm wanting to see it's a step, but maybe there needs to be more.
I thought it's very interesting. And what are the creators putting out? Like the other creators on the other platform, have you seen any of the creations from this type of program?
That's the thing. It's like, all right, you do it and you give it, but then how are you giving them a platform to show their stuff? Is there a special area that's like, how you've been seeing lately, Black creators? Is there a special area that does that? Is there a place where they're highlighted specifically, like amongst who you're highlighting? Are you making effort to push them? Because, sometimes these algorithms will squash what it's doing, what is happening. Because, people talk about algorithms, but algorithms have biases because people have biases.
Right.
Algorithms. And so that's how they end up shutting out certain segments of creators. But no, I have not seen any of these creations unless I just have it. Yeah, I don't know how they're pushing them. I think they need to do a better job of highlighting these are the creators that came out of this incubator.
Exactly. And tell us that, so that like I should see something on my Snapchat. Hey, here are the 25 people. Let's keep an eye out for their work or something. Because
exactly.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Facebook. Facebook clamps down on fake and paid reviews. The social network will also take down irrelevant reviews. Facebook parent company Meta has updated its community feedback policy in the US to explicitly ban fake and paid reviews on its platforms. Users can't post a bogus review for a restaurant in hopes of getting a free meal or take kickbacks to leave glowing opinions about a product. The revised policy also forbids irrelevant and spam reviews, not to mention those that include graphic or otherwise offensive content. Meta will pull reviews that violate policy and reserves the right to suspend access to some or all of its products. Thoughts?
Well, again, I think, again, let me commend platforms that are trying to do things to deter fraud.
Right.
But there's always a way to get around some of these things, because if there were a perfect way, I think people would have discovered it by now. How do you determine when someone is being paid by a brand to leave a glowing review? Like, how do you really determine that?
Right. Like, how do you know that that was an actual person that wrote that review?
Exactly. I mean, there are ways to tell, pay you to, put something out there. We want to pay you to, do a review of such and such. They could actually, and I'm sure there are whole services out there that do this type of thing on the dark web and otherwise.
And it doesn't even need to be the dark web. People could just you get a text message, hey, we'll pay you to leave a review. Oh, they just took it off that channel and told you what they would do, and some people are going to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really don't know how they can monitor who is and what reviews are fake from who is not. I think that's part of the problem with the peer review system. It's good because you need to have an idea of, okay, I definitely want to eat there. I definitely don't want to use this product. You need to have that. But then there's also the people who get paid to say nice things. There's also the people who are mad just because, and they'll flood the pages with a whole bunch of fake negative reviews. So the review system is not perfect. So did they talk about how they were going to do this?
Nope. They just
so the what without the how, faith without works is dead. I'm sorry.
Oh, they will pull reviews that violate policies.
But how do they know that it violates policy? Like, they haven't said, we have a new system that identifies words that, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's kind of like we had a situation Sunday of all days where there were people on our YouTube, on the client's YouTube channel, that were putting up all these. We knew that it was bot and it was spam. And so you block and then you report. And when you block it, it hides the comments, but it was blasting to the point where I was like, okay, what do I need to do now? I had to go in and find out how to adjust the comments coming in live. And so you have to go into the YouTube settings, and you can put certain keywords in there so that it blocks certain words and things, and you will, the people will not be able to comment. Maybe that's this type of thing here. Maybe there are certain words. I don't know how they're going to do that.
It remains to be seen, but I mean, I commend you for trying to do something.
Right. And that's, because I guess there's a lot going on when they're trying to manage the experience for the people that are there while still trying to get more people to come in. You're having to watch the doors and making sure your people that are in there are safe. And this is on all platforms that we get for free.
Exactly.
So that is your week in social media history. Not histories, in social media this week, on behalf of Terry Johnson. And that is our show for this week. It's a shorter show than normal. It's summer, it's June. We got grads, we got brides, we got all things going on. And so we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We look forward to talking to you on Monday. Stay tuned for some information on a workshop that we have coming up regarding text retailing. You'll get an announcement about that on Monday. On Monday. We want to say a shout out to Jill, who was here on live, and then Tasha and Dryer Buzz and Dr. Tachi and everybody who tuned in. We just want to say thank you. Appreciate your time here today. If you'd like to become a part of Biz Chicks, you can just always text Biz to 33777. Just text Biz to 33777. You can join the community there, and we will post updates and keep you informed about everything that you need to run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. Hey, Dana. So thank you so much for tuning in. Looking forward to our next time together. Have a great day. The rest of your weekend. Terry says something to the fact it's okay to succeed in your business and remember to go to the front of your own line, and we will see you on Monday. you.